I've seen enough. I've seen enough. I think we've seen enough to know that Smackdown on USA is just as bad as Smackdown on Fox. Absolutely boring show. Dreadfully boring show. Just because it's on a new network, the same people are writing it. It's not good. So we're going to talk about that. We talk about some of the changes too that is floating around, just rumors. And then something that I actually do want to start with, Megan Thee Stallion. All right, we're going to talk about that too. So Smackdown on USA, September the 13th, 2024. The premiere of Smackdown on USA. No different than Smackdown on Fox, I swear to God. But let's first start with the theme song. The theme song was Megan Thee Stallion, which is the most not wrestling of all theme songs I've ever heard on a wrestling show. Look, ever since rock music fell out of favor in the national conversation, it's been rap, rap, rap. Now look, huge fan of rap. Grew up on it, could tell you all about it. Read books on it, studied it, listened to underground rap, listened to mainstream rap for 25 years or so, okay? I'm old enough to say that. Studied this stuff for a long time. Modern rap is some of the worst rap in history. You know, it's lyrically not that great, musically not that great, but the worst thing about it is that once it sounds so dated very quickly. You know, it was similar in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. Like some of the stuff that you could go back and listen to and you'd be like, oh my God, this is so 2007. You never hear anything like this outside of 2007. This stuff, this Megan Thee Stallion, is gonna date like rotten eggs. When you start watching this stuff in 10 years on the network, you're gonna be like, people listen to Megan Thee Stallion? And you're like, yeah, she was very popular. She was all over the place, but it was mostly because she was a gigantic, thick girl. Not because she could actually rap or she actually had any skills. And it's problematic to use her as the theme song of WWE SmackDown. At this point, I don't think there's any rap that I would co-sign to be the theme song of a pro wrestling show. No rap within the last 10 years at the very least. You know, if you're going to use rap, it needs to be old rap. If it's going to be rock, it probably needs to be old rock. But my thing is, it probably needs to be rock music. For me, rock music and wrestling goes together a lot better than rap and wrestling does. You know, again, rap is my favorite genre. Rock is probably not even third. But there's an energy to rock music that feels like something's on the horizon, you know, that really touches into what pro wrestling is. Rock music fits the theme of what pro wrestling is. For them to concede and decide, we're not going to hold the line on rock music. Instead, we're going to try to be mainstream and go with mainstream artists, which is fine for theme songs, but not for the theme song to the whole show. Theme song to a wrestler, this would be fine as a theme song to a wrestler. But for a theme song of the show, matter of fact, it just feels trash. And it feels like something that is a fad. And that's what my real problem is this feels like fad music. Like nobody's really a fan of it. But it's like having that name, which is the most popular name in rap, well, one of the most popular names in rap right now, attached to your show. It just feels like that was the goal. Like if we can get WWE and Megan Thee Stallion in the same sentence, that would be, you know, great in the minds of the kids. And yeah, in the minds of the kids, that would be great. But does it actually fit? In my opinion, no. But the plan is always to get people younger and younger, and young people seem to like Megan Thee Stallion, so maybe that's the goal. SmackDown has always been the more diverse show, so using rap makes sense. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi and all of them are kind of centerpieces of the women's division on SmackDown. They're, they love Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion and all that kind of stuff, so maybe that was the goal. But I would imagine the goal was to connect WWE and Megan Thee Stallion. Perhaps, and this kind of bleeds over into this rumor that Def Rebel is going to be replaced by mainstream music. My guess is that in the era of streaming, it doesn't cost that much anymore to get mainstream theme songs. Or record labels are willing to partner with WWE to let them promote songs, and making it easier for them to use songs. That would be my guess. Otherwise, WWE / Endeavor spending money on mainstream music wouldn't make much sense, especially since Def Rebel is probably very cheap, and you can listen to it and tell that it's super cheap, and it's not good. It's terrible, actually. But if the plan is to phase out Def Rebel and replace it with mainstream artists, well, I would imagine it's not going to be for everybody. I don't think some NXT level up talent is going to be able to come out to some Metallica song that's going to cost WWE $100,000 or whatever to get. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, for, somebody who's been around for a while and getting to shift their theme song to something a little bit more mainstream, like Bayley, who definitely needs it. Okay, maybe. But the rest of the talent, I don't see that. But it's just a rumor anyway. And it's a rumor from people I never heard of. Like, who is these guys spreading this rumor around? I have no idea who these people are. Like, so what are their reputation? I don't know. Do we all hate Def Rebel? Absolutely. Does that mean that these guys are correct and that Def Rebel is going away? No. Okay. It's just wishful thinking on everybody's part because we listen to Def Rebel and it's terrible. But Def Rebel has no soul. It has no color. The musicality is poor half the time. But it's bland in a way that sometimes fits the show, sometimes fits the character. If you're going to use mainstream music, you need to get mainstream music that fits. Megan Thee Stallion doesn't fit. It doesn't fit pro wrestling. I didn't know she was so into K-pop and anime and that kind of stuff. This ain't that vibe. SmackDown is not the K-pop anime vibe. It's not, So, sorry. There needs to be probably some rock or something involved with this. Some hardcore rap, That might fit. Something with some big drums or some guitars or something, But we're stuck with what we're stuck with. So the theme song, I hate it. It sucks. We'll see how long it lasts. Now they did they redesigned the logo where the S and the D makes it look like it's Smack Sound. And look, they tried. they tried. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So they're changing everything and trying to spice things up. Whatever. So the show starts with Triple H because of course it does. Why wouldn't the show start with Triple H? The most important man in the company. I remember wrestling in this ring 25 years ago in the main event against The Rock. It's like, okay, all right. You gotta listen to Grandpa tell his stories. I'm sure that was a fun time for all involved, but can we please get your old ass the hell out of here? Beat it. So he wasted everybody's time. It was only about, it took longer than it should have, but it didn't take that long. Match 1. Steel cage match, WWE title, Cody Rhodes defeats Solo Sikoa. You know what? I actually liked this match. I thought it was pretty good. Cody worked very hard. Solo did his best. I'm not going to say Solo is excellent, but he did his best. He did what he could. Cody did the Cody Cutter off the cage, which I thought was phenomenal. Was a great spot. He also did a crossbody off the top of the cage that seemingly destroyed Solo. And it looked like Solo was legit hurt because he caught Cody. He was in the right position. But man, did he got hit pretty hard with that crossbody. It did not look happy. Cody got a little bit of color from a running headbutt, which was weird. And a superplex off the rope by Solo Sikoa. So it was a back and forth affair. Cody wins with a crossroads. It was technically the second crossroads of the match, but he didn't need to do the trifecta in a row, praise God, because my goodness, why would you need to use 3 of those things? So after the match, of course, the Bloodline jumped him. Roman came to make the save. Roman beat up everybody except Jacob Fatu, who had left the cage for some reason, because they're trying to avoid him getting beat up. Then everybody climbed back in and beat up Roman. And then Cody came in and saved Roman. This led to a Cody and Roman standoff. And at this point, Roman Reigns is Batman. He ain't got much to say. He's just showing up, beating up the criminals of Gotham. And that's pretty much it for the opening segment. They let you know that Roman is there and that Cody is there and that he says that he's done with the Bloodline. He said that in the ring. You and me are done. So then Solo Sikoa makes the challenge backstage to Nick Aldis off screen. The tag team match. Cody and Roman versus Solo and Jacob Fatu. Now, okay, makes sense. Cody says no. Cody doesn't want to do that. He says his business with the Bloodline is over. It's finished. So Roman says he'll address it in the ring. He gets in the ring, says he doesn't need Cody. This is family business. This is Bloodline business. He doesn't even need a contract. He doesn't need nothing. He can handle this himself. So then Cody Rhodes comes out there and says, oh, this is your ring. This is your show. This is your WWE. Not since WrestleMania. It's mine now. Not since WrestleMania. So then, of course, the Bloodline come to the ring and try to jump them. Cody and Roman fight them off. And then they decide, well, I guess we do need each other. And I guess the Bloodline is my business. And they both sign the contract. So now, at Bad Blood, Cody and Roman Reigns will team together to face Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Bro, why? Why, bro? This is not necessary. This is not necessary at all. Look, I get it. You want to have Roman on the show. Roman probably should be on the show. But unless Jimmy Uso just had his leg amputated, he should have been the partner. Because at least he could take the pin. Who's going to take the pin in this match? Solo? Is Solo going to lose? Or is it going to end up being a disqualification? Because Roman's not taking the pin. Cody's not taking the pin. And Jacob's not taking the pin. Unless they pin Jacob, which that would suck for him because he ain't been around that long. What's the point? You know, to me, they're trying to force this thing. Look, I don't care, man. It is what it is. Book what you want. I get that you want the Hell in a Cell match to be the unquestioned main event of the show. That's a positive to Cody being tossed in this match. Is that now we know that Cody's going to be on the show, Roman's going to be on the show, but CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is the unquestioned main event. And the main draw for the show. Also heard that the ticket prices for Bad Blood have gotten outrageous, which is no surprise considering what Mark Shapiro said about cutting shows next year. You're going to learn. I've heard that the ticket prices for Bad Blood and Survivor Series are gotten pretty outrageous. Good luck with that. Good luck. Because if those two things are crazy, just imagine Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Just imagine SummerSlam. You know, whew, good luck. Anyway, Cody and Roman, I don't really care about them as a tag team. I don't understand why they changed their mind so quickly without good reason. You know, Roman could have just challenged Solo to a match, and then you got a couple of weeks before the match is actually, you know, has to happen. You could have took that time for them to talk it out. You know, this is one of the things that, hey, drawing it out probably would have been for the best. Maybe Roman's not going to make any more appearances before now and then, but just jumping right into this thing after both of them have said no, and now all of a sudden they failed to get jumped. It'd have been one thing if they'd got jumped individually. And then, okay, we need to work together. Maybe we need to swallow our pride and work together. But no, they just threw these guys together. So it is what it is. Who cares? Piper Niven lost to Mia Yim in like 42 seconds. All that time they gave the Triple H, they took it away from these girls. Not like that I'm mad about it, because Piper Niven, and Mia Yim sucks. Anyway, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven beat up Mia Yim after the match. Nobody seems to care. Nobody cared at all, actually, for poor Mia Yim. That's too bad. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory lost to Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So they did a gimmick earlier where Kevin Owens said he couldn't find his partner. So he brings out Ricky Gibson of Midnight Heat. Now, I know who Ricky Gibson of Midnight Heat is because I saw it on Twitter. So this guy comes out, he's bald and hairy, and he looks every bit the Creator wrestler. And everybody is in the absolute maw of this thing. Like, who is this guy? And obviously it's some kind of joke. He gets in the ring, he's weird looking, he's awkward. And Kevin Owens is like, look, my real partner couldn't make it, had travel issues, so Ricky is the guy. And everybody is looking at Ricky, and it was an Ellsworth situation where he looked so weird and he looked so bland that everybody just immediately just started laughing and was entertained by him just being there. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to show up and people laughed at him. Which I don't know if it's cool or if it's terrible, but he laughed. And so Kevin Owens, just as the bell was about to ring, they tell him, oh, his real partner is here. And I'm like, okay, who is it? And it's Randy Orton. So then Kevin Owens goes over and gives Ricky a stunner and tells him thanks, but he doesn't need him. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're the Kevin Owens I don't turn on everybody gimmick. I guess that's in the garbage, huh? That's, he needed this guy and he was great. And then all of a sudden, I don't need you anymore. Stunner! I'm not that guy anymore, except for I still am. Anyway, this match went on forever. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton seemingly just went on forever before they won, Orton and Owens. I mean, Jesus Christ, this match seemed to go on forever. Maybe because I didn't care about it, but this match seemed like it was 25 minutes. It felt so long. It probably was nowhere near that long, but it felt so long. Poor Austin Theory. Poor guy, poor fella. But Randy Orton's back on Smackdown, which that was quick. They didn't even, no time to marinate on Raw. He just went over there and did the job for Gunther and then said, okay, I'm back on Smackdown where I belong. So now we're back to, hey, when is it going to do the Cody and Randy match? And I'm guessing Cody and Randy is going to end up being either at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, which seems to be the direction that they're going in. All right. Nia Jax came to the ring. She's very bad at talking. Said that everything has been easy since her return. But she's going to defend her title at Bad Blood, but she doesn't care against who. So Bayley interrupts. Says that she surpassed her previous run, talking about Nia Jax, but that was a low bar, so of course. But she said she wants her rematch. Then they start to arguing where Nia Jax says, look, you ain't got damage control this time. And Bayley was like, oh, you needed Tiffany to win. And so Tiffany came out there, says that she lost to Bayley because of Nia, and then they started sowing dissension between Nia and Tiffany. Bayley is just present. Then they're about to jump Bayley, and then Naomi comes out there, and she's also very, very bad at talking. Very not good. Loud for no reason. Sounds nervous. Just crazy. Says she wants a title shot, but also is out there to protect Bayley. So then Nia Jax has this grand idea for a tag match next week, saying that, hey, you two team up, and whichever one of you scores the pinfall gets a championship match. Okay. That assumes that they're going to win. And then Nia Jax, as she's leaving, says, but if we beat you, the one of you that loses is banned from SmackDown. And I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. And then there's a mini brawl where Tiffany Stratton basically flees from Bayley and Naomi. And then the infamous scene that made everybody pop, where Naomi was twerking in the direction of Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, and it seemed like Bayley was going to smack that because, my goodness, why wouldn't you? And then she thought better of it. She was like, she had to be in Auntie Pam mode. She didn't want to be in Club Girl Pam mode, but she probably would have been all in there. But she was like, oh, she thought twice about it. The intrusive thoughts almost took over. I'm okay with this match because the stakes seem to be pretty high, and it seems like they have a plan. So, to me, obviously, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton are going to lose, and Tiffany's going to take the fall. But the idea is to sow dissension between Bayley and Naomi. Maybe they'll get that done, maybe they won't. But it's not like they're going to boot Naomi from SmackDown or boot Bayley from SmackDown. It just doesn't seem reasonable right now. So clearly Tiffany's going to take the pin. And it's more than likely going to be Bayley. That's going to end up being the opponent for Nia Jax. So there's that. Match 4. Andrade defeats Carmelo Hayes in the match. The tiebreaker match. With a net breaker off the second rope. This match also felt like it went on forever. It was a good match. These guys have really good chemistry, but they're seemingly having matches for no reason. It's just going on forever. After the match, LA Knight comes out, says that Andrade has won the number 1 contendership and that he's going to fight Andrade next week. So, LA Knight versus Andrade for the U.S. title next week on SmackDown. Should be big, but there was no huge announcement for it. It was just LA Knight comes out there and says, "You won the lottery. No. And that was it. That was pretty much it. He called him a cross-eyed half-wit and some more stuff, and that was it. And so, there's no belief that Andrade is going to win the title here. There's just no energy behind Andrade at all. In terms of people being over, neither one of these guys seemingly got any fan reaction at all. It's just very unfortunate because both of them are very talented guys. They're being booked into oblivion. You know, these very long matches where nobody gets to see their personalities or anything like that. They just go out there and work great stuff. Just work. Oh, I forgot. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton confronted Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, which actually is interesting. Nia Jax reminded them that she beat both of them on the way to winning the Queen of the Ring. And she also threatened to do damage to Naomi. So maybe they're going to have Naomi win that match. And then they're going to lead that into Nia Jax destroying Naomi. And then one of these two having to make the save. It's probably going to end up being Bianca first. Because, as I said before, Jade Cargill is more likely going to be the one that's going to pin Nia Jax and beat her for the belt. And that's why she has it. I know a lot of people hate Nia Jax. But she serves the same purpose as Andre and Big Show and Earthquake and King Kong Bundy and Vader and all these other giants. Sans Undertaker. The Great Khali and Umaga and all these people. You know, you set up for somebody else to come in and slay the dragon. And it's probably going to be Jade Cargill in order to make her look special. And that's fine with me. It's just going to take forever for us to get there. And that's unfortunate. But SmackDown on Fox was... The first episode of SmackDown on Fox is most known for the Kofi Kingston squash. What is this episode of SmackDown on USA going to be known for? Nothing. Nothing happened on this show that really is a big deal. Roman talked again. So, he's, you know, this is my WWE. This is my show. He's not just the original tribal chief. He's the only tribal chief. Which I like. Okay. So, SmackDown hasn't changed. Well, it hasn't changed at all, really. They're still muting the crowd. Everybody thought that it was Fox. I even thought it was Fox that was muting the crowd. It turns out it's WWE that's muting the crowd because there was so much crowd muting during that cage match that you might as well have been watching a house show. An incredible amount of muting when it comes to the crowd. Unreal amount of muting when it comes to the crowd. Look, WWE wants to present a PG product, so they're going to mute the crowd. This is going to ruin the presentation. I don't think the crowd should be cussing anyway, but it's going to ruin the presentation. It has been ruining the presentation. I wish they would mute the what chants. Mute the what chants. If you're going to mute something on this show, you're going to mute something on any show. Mute the what chants. Because I don't want to hear that. That I don't want to hear. People chanting holy shit, holy shit. May not be good for advertisers. Might not be good for families. But I'm willing to take that one right on the cheek. The what chants, mute them shits. Mute that shit. If you're going to mute something, mute that. But there was another thing. There was a couple of other things here that kind of ruffled some feathers. Some feathers were definitely ruffled. Vicky Guerrero made an appearance on this show. It was just a cameo. She was sitting in the crowd. She popped up. Excuse me. The internet exploded with hatred for Vicky Guerrero, which is not incorrect. It was the right thing to do. Vicky Guerrero and her behavior towards her daughter is unconscionable. It is absurd that WWE would put her on television. At the same time, though, who's to say that they even knew how bad this whole thing was? Because it was last year, I think, and it didn't become like front page news on television or anything like that. It was a big blow up that was mostly online. Did they Google Vicky Guerrero and look at this and say, it's okay that, her daughter accused her husband of, I think it was sexual assault or sexual harassment or something like that. And, Vicky took her husband's side. These kind of things, they bother me. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that a mother sided against their child. I don't like that. But then again, I don't remember which child it was. I just remember it being a big hubbub, and that the Guerrero family has that version of the Guerrero family has kind of been in a schism and, flying off the handle ever since Eddie passed away. So there's been a lot of ugliness around this. I really don't need to see Vicky Guerrero on television. But was I mad to see Vicky Guerrero on television? No. I was surprised. I wasn't mad. A lot of the people that were mad about Vicky Guerrero being on TV were actually mad William Regal was on television. All the AEW fans I don't respect him because of how he left AEW. He harassed Tony while Tony's mother had a stroke. I'm like, man, that's Tony's story. We don't know what conversations were had when, and then William Regal hasn't talked about it. So we don't know what his side of the story is. Only thing we know is this guy wanted to go work with his son, and that's what he's been doing. He didn't lie. He works in NXT with his son, which is exactly what he wanted to do. The idea that he's a traitor, when in reality, the only reason he was even in AEW in the first place is because Vince and Triple H was having a tug of war for the company, and he just got caught in the middle. Similar to Samoa Joe, who got rehired and fired again. There was a weird time there, I think in 2022, 2021, where Vince had power of the company, and Triple H was trying to pull power back, and Endeavor was in the middle of it. They gave Vince all this authority and everything, and Vince was trying to use it, but Triple H was still going to run the shows, and there was a tug of war, and people started losing jobs because Vince was just getting rid of them. Hey, this guy's a Triple H loyalist, he's got to go. These talents, Triple H likes these talents, they got to go. That was a mistake. I don't like that, and that's one thing about corporate culture that I really don't like, is that if you make any kind of partnership with somebody, it's seen as a political thing, and you can end up getting your career damaged because of it. And there was a lot of people who got caught under the boot of that bullshit. Swerve Strickland being one of them, William Regal, a couple of guys who ended up just going to AEW like Adam Cole and stuff like that, where it seemed like they were unwanted by WWE. But the only reason why William Regal was even over there was because of this schism between Vince and Triple H, and William Regal was seen as a Triple H guy, an NXT guy. And then they were also going in a different direction. William Regal was a talent scout. They were going with the NIL program mostly. They weren't really, signing free agents or and that kind of thing. So William Regal's job kind of was getting phased out. But now he's back. He's doing a good job again. He pops up on Smackdown. The AEW fans are very angry with him. To that, of course, I say grow up. You can't control these sorts of things. You can't control, that this guy works in this industry. He wants to work with his son. So what? So what if Tony Khan's mom is sick? Then he should definitely appreciate then the importance of family. It's ridiculous. But I think the most interesting piece of this is that William Regal decided he was going to come back the moment Triple H got full control. As soon as Triple H got full control, all of a sudden, my son needs me. Very slick. But all of that stuff aside, Gunther and Kaiser, all the cameos they had, they showed video pictures, still pictures of old SmackDown episodes, and it was not even in order. It was just kind of like bouncing all over the place. 2006, 2018. It's like, what? Okay. You could at least show some highlights from old SmackDowns or whatever. Or show highlights on the last time SmackDown was on USA or whatever. But no, this show was it was terrible. It was a terrible show. It's not good. Triple H is a boring booker. I will say this, and I don't want to harp too much on Triple H, man. I really don't, but it needs to be said. When people were loving NXT, when people were like, NXT is my favorite show, blah, blah, blah. NXT was 1 hour. 1 hour a week. All right? They were taping the shows on, I think, Tuesdays, and then airing them on Wednesdays, and they were taping them in blocks, so you had spoilers out there, and they could, use the WWE magic to make things look good. But these live Raws and SmackDowns have not been good under Triple H. They've had a good episode here and there. There's been some big moments here and there. But for the most part, these shows are draining to watch. From the choices of talent that he pushes, to the lack of story, to the how stories are drawn out. One of the things that people have complained a lot about when it comes to SmackDown so far, since WrestleMania especially, has been Cody Rhodes and his title run. They've been talking about how terrible it is, how awful it is. It has reached up to all of the dirt sheets and all of the marked podcasters. Everybody's discussing it. Everybody's talking about Cody Rhodes' title run, how lackluster it's been. It's just been good match after good match after good match. Hey, he had a good match with Logan Paul. He had a good match with AJ Styles. He had good matches with Solo Sikoa. I mean, what is that? How does that? What has that really done for the product? They booked him in matches that were good, but there was no overarching heel character, no big heater for him to face. And that's the problem. They're booking Super Cody, and that works for some people and it doesn't work for others. He's having better matches than most Superman characters in WWE has. But at the same time, we're in a situation where, is that really what people want? Do people really want Superman Cody? Because I don't think so. And the booking of the show, the goes back to Triple H. The stars that he chooses to feature are not guys who are super charismatic and get people's attention. Well, Logan Paul is. AJ Styles is to a degree. But Solo Sikoa, he had a lot of heat back when he was quiet and he wasn't the star of the Bloodline. And now, but since then, he hasn't been as over as he was. It's Triple H's fault. He didn't have anybody prepared. And then he hasn't done anything to even get you to believe that somebody is going to be prepared in the future. So outside now, despite the fact that I don't care about Cody continuing to be in the Bloodline story, what other option do you have? Your only other option is to quickly, on a dime, turn either Kevin Owens or Randy Orton heel so that Cody can have something hot to do. And they're not going to do that because, again, the storylines move at a snail's pace on this show. So it's hard to tell, So SmackDown, we're in for a rough ride. It's going to be a tough one. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to talk to you guys later. No one does it better.